Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Welcome to My Tank is a crazy tank that can't hit the broadside of a barn. No, I digress. It's not really the case here at all. Welcome to My Tank is a Russian tank that can't hit the broadside of the barn. That's the title I was looking for. This is my mate Tiago, one of the patrons. He slipped me this review in Telegram chat and said, hey, Bushka, why don't you have a look at this replay, not review, this replay and tell me what you think. And I thought that it deserved a go on YouTube. That's why I put it up here. So if you are watching this and you're one of the patrons and you've got something that you think is pretty special, make sure you let me know. This is the IS-5. It's a great tank if you like it. I don't like it a lot, even though I know it's a great tank. There's a couple of reasons why I don't like it, and they're not really much to do with the tank. Well, one of them is, I just can't stand the gun handling, right? The gun handling drives me up the wall. You can fully buff this thing out, and it will have a .389 dispersion. I mean, it's a lot. It's nearly 0.4 dispersion. And when you're running around with that and an aim time of 5.8 seconds, you're going to miss a lot of shots. You're not going to see a lot of missed shots in these videos because most of these videos are going to feature the tank played the right way. Right up close and personal in the face of the bad guys. Now, I know what you're saying. That shot there, for instance, that doesn't go in for me. That's the shot that misses for me. I'm like, how does that not go in? How does that not go in, RNGesus? Can you tell me? Can you just give me a hand? They're the shots that miss. Now, that's what I have against it in terms... That's the only thing I have against it, by the way, in terms of actual stuff that it should, upset you as a tanker. The armor profile is outstanding. The mobility for a tank with that much armor is really good. It is literally the tier 8 version of the IS-7. But I mean, there's a few tier 8 versions of the IS-7. But this is the one with the best armor. And much like the IS-7, the gun will drive you wild. The thing I have against it is all the tournaments I've played have featured hordes of IS-5s, coupled with hordes of IS-3 defenders in Tier 8. And the reason I don't like that is it just makes for a really boring meta. That being said, it's there because it's effective. And it's there because it's one of the best heavy tanks you can run when you need to assault and break through a line. Look at that. I mean, Horse, what a champion. Pushes the SP1C in front of him. Look at this bloke go. Is there nothing Tiago can't do? What a monster. You might remember Horse, I think it was Horse was with me in the Tiger 1 video where I talked about farming. And we absolutely rocked him and socked him. He was in a T29 on Dead Rail. I might have that wrong. Didn't get his angles right there, but he's certainly won that trade. I bet the SP1C would like that trade back. What Horse is doing really well with this tank, and what a lot of people don't do with it, is he's playing it at the front. So many people don't like Tier 8 as a meta because basically there are a lot of heavy tanks. And that's fair enough. There are a lot of heavy tanks at Tier 8. There's no way around that. But if that's what there is, then you may as well take a tank that can intimidate and be nasty to other heavies. And that is what the IS-5 does. It has a lot of pen, 221mm on its 122mm D25T8, which is a lot of pen, really. A hell of a lot of pen. And 270mm on its heat. So it's got heat and it's got APCR, which is actually pretty cool. Nice fast shell velocity on APCR, by the way. That's what you like about it. It's also achievable with Tier 10 supply for only 1,500 gold. So it's a tank that a lot of people can get a hold of. And it's one of the reasons it's so heavily featured in tournament play is that a lot of people out there can manage to scrape together 1,500 gold and get one of the best Tier 8 heavies you can buy. Now, the Tier 8 heavies that really tickle my fancy, well, you probably know them already. Tanks like the Carnarvon really get my socks rolling up and down. Tanks that have outstanding guns that really wreck the day of people who play these things like blunt force trauma. But if you're smart with a tank like this, you can frustrate a good Carnarvon driver by going hull down and just angling the tank up a little bit. You won't get away with it all the time, but you will get away with it an awful lot. It's also got pretty good side armor, and that shot right there, oh my god, that never comes off for me, but it's looked pretty good all the same. Mastery badge for horse, 4,516 damage, high caliber, and the Confederate medal. The one that you get for hitting all the tanks. You know the one. This is quite an interesting game, this one. I liked this game an awful lot. It's on Himmelsdorf. Now, this is nirvana for an IS-5 driver. If you're a big-time IS-5 driver, and a lot of people are, because this is their prime credit grinding tank, the fact that it's available for 1,500 gold to a top supply level is a good reason to use this as your credit grinding tank. If you're wondering why this tank is so effective, the upper plate on this thing is 220 millimeters pretty much everywhere as a bare minimum. It spikes to 230 and up to 228 and 252 in spots all over. But there is a weak point under the gun that you can get very, very lucky and hit that is only 60 millimeters. And if you're in a desperate situation, you can try and HE that. But you can see this is you need like a TD pen to get through this thing up close and personal. It does have some hatches that can be shot, but it's very low slung to the ground. It's like an IS-3 on roids, honest to God. And it's the tank that will drive people the most up the wall when they run up against it in game. And they will run up against it an awful lot because, as I mentioned, 1,500 gold is a hell of a good price for a premium tank. At 220 millimeters of pen, you can see the aim time. The aim time and the gun are just atrocious. But they need to be. If you were going to have all positives on this tank, then no one would drive anything else. The gun handling means that it's really poor at long-range engagements. Just horrific. Eventually a shot goes in, but that was by no means a fait accompli. Now, there are still a couple of tanks behind us. What I like about the moves that you're seeing here, you'll note he keeps driving the tank a little bit forward. The reason for that is when you drive it forward, it hides the lower glacis and it elevates it a touch and it makes the angles even harder. And he's going to get an actual BS shot in there, and that never goes in for me. Mr. A, well done. The IS-3 at the back there, look how long it takes this gun to aim in. Yeah. And it'll still miss like that sometimes. I'm not showing you any of those games. I'm only showing you the games where the gun actually goes in. Big bounce there. That guy's running the BL9, which will give you about 225 millimeters of pen at tier 8. So it's got to get lucky to get through. HE, yes, thank you. 434 into the side of the Chi-Ri. Things are starting to come unstuck here, though. There are 5 red guys left and only 3 green guys left. And the real problem here is that he needs cap points, but he also needs to clear tanks because the green guys are disappearing at an alarming rate. He wants to cap this D point, but this Jag Panther 2 is going to come around the side, and he needs to at least put some shots into him for the hit point trade that's going to happen there, and he loses his Tiger 2. Things are looking real grim. Things are looking dim. Things are looking very, very dim. But he's in one of the toughest tanks that money can buy. He's going to face hug. Now, this is an absolute must if you are in an IS-5. You have to learn to face hug. Get your tank up as close as possible to the bad guys and make them try and shoot you at very short range with a gun that can't depress far enough to get the job done. Now, they're way behind on cap points, but he has managed to clear 2 more tanks out of the 4 remaining. Doesn't have a lot of hit points left though, and there's a T28 prototype around somewhere who can actually pen that armor profile. There he is. Oh my god, get wrecked. That shot should never go in. Top right corner of the gun mantlet. No problems, flat surface, absolutely nails it. But here's your issue. Do you go for decap? Or do you go and get C? Or do you go and find that IS-3? Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be so close. He has driven the house down, Mr. A. Just needs a good roll here. 371. He gets a sub-average roll. He just needed 400. Can he ram him? Oh my God, you have got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. No. Oh. So close. That's going to leave a mark on the iPad when he puts his fist through it. 4,462 damage, a mastery badge, a top gun, a pools medal, a steel wall, a high caliber. All this and so much more. Now, this gun is pretty crap in terms of gun depression, right? You are not going to be doing any ridge fighting in the IS-5. In fact, it's one of the reasons why on most of the maps you see it do very, very well on. It's doing it on flat surfaces. The gun only has 5 degrees of gun depression, which is not a lot. And its traverse numbers are not exactly off the charts either. If you look at the tank in terms of traverse, you're looking at a tank that only has 34.75 degrees of traverse. And that's fully kitted out with spare parts and everything else. So that's the gun performing more like I remember. So it's no surprise that it works best when it can keep things in front of it and maps work in long, straight sections. And that's exactly what Himmelsdorf, and to a lesser extent Middelburg, but certainly Dead Short 1900 is putting himself in the right position here to get the job done on Middelburg, are 2 maps that this tank really, really enjoys. There's a high probability of getting a side scrape on. There's a high probability of having tanks come into you from the front and not get too flanked. And there's plenty of time to turn and meet the enemy. Still, this game, while it might be on the perfect map for our amigo Dead Short, is not to be trifled with. The IS-3 and the IS-5 there, bouncing shots together at a professional level. I think what he's saying about RNG there is he's not happy with the RNG, but neither would the IS-3 be happy with the RNG. So I think, all in all, it's a win-win or a lose-lose, depending on how you look at it. The IS-3, though, isn't looking at it like it's a good thing. So, again, IS-3 pushing in, and the IS-5 wants to just make it as close as a face hug as he can. 2 on 4 now. Dead Short presses the affirmative button. He's pretty happy with how that engagement went. Lost no hit points to the IS-3 and took 3 shots into him, which is pretty cool. There's a Comet up there. That was one of the most optimistic shots in history. I make those kind of shots all this time. IS-5 has the longest reloads as the T20. Indeed. RNG just stopped for 1 game. Dead Short, you optimistic grub. It's not stopping for anyone. I'm done, he says. That's it. That's it. I love the fact that he is so salty about RNGs. Stops to reload. Here we go. Is it going to change? Nope. Not going to change. It's 1 on 4, and this guy can't hit the side of a barn. What's he got going for him? Well, he's got a tank that's got a whole lot of armor. And you can see that these boys are about to find out just how hard it is to pen an IS-5 rather, up close and personal. And this is the perfect storm. There is only 1 tank there that is a tier 8, and it's a T54 Mod 1. And the T54 Mod 1 has a 100mm gun with about 175mm of AP penetration. He is going to have to fire APCR, and so far, he hasn't. And he won't be because he just got wrecked. The Comet has a 145mm pen, 75mm gun, and the IS, while he can get the job done, is actually not in a very good spot there, and he's in a lot worse of a situation now that he got set on fire. Another shot is bounced. I love this game. This game has it all. RNG, angst, character-driven plot, and a Comet that just cannot get a freaking shot to pen. Look at this poor Comet. He's got ammo rack damage, he's got a 75mm gun, and this monster that 1 minute ago couldn't hit a shot to save his life has got him pinned up against a wall. How? Last words, says Dead Short 1900. Oh, this guy is killing it. What a game. What a fantastical, incredible joyride through the highs and the lows of Blitz. via the IS-5. You saw everything there. You saw the stupidly bad gun. You saw the stupidly OP armor profile. You saw T54 Mod 1s crying. You saw a Comet pinned up against a wall. An E25 get taken to school. It all happened. Mastery badge, Top Gun, High Caliber, the Radley Walters, the Steel Wall, and the Kolobanovsky. That's it for me, boys and girls. I'm off to Tankfest. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you like the IS-5. I hope that you start sending me replays when the new patch comes out and we can start this whole hullabaloo all over again. I hope you're enjoying World of Tanks Blitz as much as I am. Spare parts disappearing is a massive positive for the game, and I think it's something that we should all look forward to. A lot of new tanks in our garage very, very soon. Until next time, look after your mum, be nice to your dog, eat your vegetables, and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.